I want everybody to understand that this was not supposed to be the video that I wanted to make. Originally, I decided to try and play Whizbang decks on my grind to legend at the very beginning of the reset, and I knew that it was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be challenging, but I was not ready for how mentally unready, I guess, I was for this kind of a challenge, because the biggest thing with me in playing Hearthstone is that I like playing fun decks, but I don't like playing weak decks. So whenever I play a weak deck and I feel like I'm just completely disadvantaged from the very beginning of the game, I just do not have a lot of fun. So this is just a very complicated way of saying that this is going to be a video to where I'm not going to rant. I'm going to be very calm with my assessment, because I don't want people to assume that I'm just caught up in my feelings or caught up in whatever. I really do believe that Reno is the worst card that has ever been introduced to Hearthstone for one simple reason. Reno legitimately is just the literal fun police of Hearthstone, to where if you are an unoptimized deck that happens to go up against a Reno deck, it is all about whether or not your opponent is going to have this card by turn 9, because again, we are talking about unoptimized decks that are not supposed to be that good. Whizbang decks are unfortunately not that optimized, because you don't get to choose what you play from the very beginning. Sometimes you'll get like a really bad hand with a really bad deck, and there are going to be some situations to where, because you went up against a Highlander deck and you are an unoptimized fun whatever deck that you're playing, you are simply not going to have the tools in order to kill your opponent by turn 9 unless you roll the absolute giga nuts. Now, is it possible for Whizbang decks in order to kill Reno decks before turn 9? Yes, but there needs to be a lot of high rolling done in order to do that. And we'll take a look at some of the Whizbang decks here in a second in order to kind of paint this picture. But let me go ahead and rant about Reno for a little bit, because this card is just, it's making me not want to play Hearthstone. This is legitimately a card that is giving me so much anguish with the game, where as soon as this card comes out, my demeanor goes from being extremely excited to being like, for like literally like up like 3-4 minutes. Like, I see this card and I just immediately want to quit the game. I don't want to play anymore, because I already know what's gonna happen. The game has handed the initiative over to my opponent, and if I'm playing a deck that already doesn't have any comeback ability, I've just simply lost the game. And there is one game in particular that I want to highlight in order to really showcase this. Now, later in the video, I will showcase 3 games that really do showcase the reason why I despise Reno, because again, a Highlander deck is only going to have 30 individual cards, and when they simply just always have the Reno by turn 9, or in this case by turn 8, it's really just, you can't do anything about it. And instead of just showing off the entire game, I just want to show off this moment where I had a really cool moment with Thunderbringer. I actually was able to get Thunderbringer off of the Togwoggle treasure that summons 2 legendaries. And this was actually pretty interesting at the time, because at my next turn is about to be an arch villain Rafam, to where who knows what's going to be in my deck. This is peak Hearthstone, right? The board is being occupied. There's a lot of really crazy synergies going on. Legendaries are doing their thing. The warrior is trying to remove, and now what happens, you know, when the Thunderbringer dies? It's going to bring out some other minions, right? Look at that. I've got 2 more Thunderbringers that I put into the deck. How did I do that? Watch the video in order to figure it out, because we were having fun. We were trying to do the thing legitimately and win the game through doing this. Now, here's the thing. Highlander Warrior, yes, it is the best Highlander deck. It is the reason why a lot of people don't like the Highlander archetype. But in my opinion, even if Warrior is on top, even if it's not on top, there will just be another Reno deck that'll take its place in order to do exactly what you know is going to be happening next turn. For context, he rolled the pouch of coins, and now is able to completely wipe away this board. And just watch my face. Fun Police. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. My death rattles were invalidated. Who knows what random legendaries are in my deck? Now I'm just left with a bunch of awkward cards that don't synergize together, because I'm trying my best in order to make a Whizbang deck work. But the simple fact of the matter is, if I can't kill them before turn 8 in some situations, because that was turn 8, then I have no way of winning the game. And spoiler alert, we did not win this game. And this goes on for another grueling, like, I don't know how long. but it's just like this is not the kind of Hearthstone experience that I want. I absolutely despise it when the best strategies in the game are simply to just deny. Not even like in a control sense to where you're finally going to be able to kill your opponent with like big minions. No, I am not a fan of these decks that simply just take away from your opponent in literally every single sense. Your board is just gone. If Reno gets drawn by turn 8, turn 9 against a Highlander deck, they simply win. And unlike the other Reno where you could pressure board to where, you know, you had 30 attack on the field anyway, so if they fully healed back up, that's not going to matter because you had a way of countering it. There's no way of countering Reno other than beating them before turn 9 or your deck actually having the tools to go into the late game to deal with Reno after the fact. So simply put, Reno is going to counter like 80% of total Hearthstone archetypes, not 80% of the meta, but 80% of decks that are even craftable, makeable, you know, buildable. All these decks that can't kill Reno by turn 9 or can't go into the late game are simply going to be outvalued if your opponent is so lucky and has it by turn 9. Like, that's the problem that I have. It's either damned because they have it by turn 9, or you're the Highlander deck and you didn't get it and it feels like you just lose. I do not like the justification of Reno being sometimes you don't get it on turn 9, so sometimes it's a balanced card. I do not like that being the design philosophy, especially when it comes to Highlander cards that are just literally this busted and powerful. So if we check out Hearthstone top decks, they have an article that is committed all to the new Whizbang decks, and a lot of people are able to figure this out because some people actually data mined the new update and the new patch, so they were able to see some of the differences with these decks. Now, I'm not going to go over this, but I wanted to put this in here in order to show you guys what the decks are actually looking like and how some of these decks are just simply never going to outvalue Reno if you do not kill them by turn 9, and some of these decks I don't know are how you're going to be able to kill a Reno warrior by turn 9. And kind of like what I was saying earlier, where if one Reno deck doesn't become good, there will be another Reno deck that'll take its place, and we'll go over that here in a second on the Reno decks that I believe might be the problematic decks that pop up again. But yeah, Deck of Wishes, this is probably a deck that could beat Reno because you have actual wish cards in the deck and you can play for tempo. It's pretty much just Shopper Demon Hunter, so it is a pretty decent deck in that aspect. You have the Druid deck, which has Yogg-Saron, which can cast, you know, the 5% on Rod of Roasting, so that is a technical win condition, but very unlikely, and that's just kind of what I'm trying to paint here, dude. It's like a lot of these decks technically have a way of dealing with like Reno on turn 9 if you don't kill them before then, but the chances of that happening are like literal 5%, man. Like, how is this supposed to be fun for anyone that wants to legitimately play Whizbang when Reno decks are being incentivized this hard? Like, Blizzard wants people to play the Highlander archetype, and if this is going to be how it's going to continue from here on out, I'm really going to hate Highlander decks from here on out. So it's just like, some of these decks just have no business being able to deal with like a Reno warrior, like this deck, for example. I don't think there's any way that this Prime deck can win a game unless you absolutely play on curve and have every single card exactly when you need it. So it's just like, oh yeah, morphing cards. Good luck trying to figure out how to beat Reno with that. Like Paladin deck of Heroes, another Reno deck that actually doesn't even play the Reno hero card. Like, what, that plays the Amazing Reno. And to use this opportunity to talk about, well, Clark, did you have a problem with Amazing Reno? No, because Amazing Reno was in one class, and it was 10 mana. One class, 10 mana, versus every class used to be 8 mana. Can you understand why I do not like Reno and why I just despise this, man? Because there should be counterplay to it. Plague was the counterplay to the Reno archetype for the longest time, and now that Plagues don't counter these new Highlander cards, there needs to be a way to counter them some way or another, but I don't know how because you can't affect the deck now. Things like Albatross, if they were to bring that back, it wouldn't be good enough. This deck maybe could beat the Reno decks by turn 9 if they don't have any AoE or any disruption to get rid of the gigantic board, but this deck is very much all or nothing. I played this deck not too long ago, and it was, you either kill them by turn 3 or you die by turn 4 because you didn't draw your deck well. And again, this is the point that I'm trying to make out. These decks are not consistent. When they do beat you, you realize they were an Omega high roll. So there's just not a lot that you're able to do when you are this limited and you have something that you have to worry about that completely not only wipes away your board, but gives your opponent initiative to where now you have to come back. These decks don't have comeback ability. Reno archetypes simply are just the absolute noob counter to people that have budget decks, unoptimized decks, or decks that are just not killing people by turn 9 or outvaluing them into the late game. That's the problem I have with Reno. He's just the ace card. He is the best card in the game when you think about it in that sort of vacuum. But the last thing that I'll do before ending this rant and then going on to the game clips ahead to really showcase to you guys why I do not like Reno, and I feel like I've been doing this in a very, very calm and collective way. It's been a couple of times where I've been getting a little bit heated, but that's just how this card is, dude. It's just so divisive to where people are either all against it, or in Zeddy's case, he's all for it, to where he's like, there's only one good Reno deck, and it's because of Bran. If there's a 9-mana board clear that has a strict build around is the problem in Hearthstone, then I think we're in a pretty good spot. But in all honesty, like I said earlier, I believe that other Reno decks are going to take its place. Reno Druid, Reno Shaman, Reno Priest, and Reno Paladin to a degree if the Mirage wasn't bugged right now, so you can't even play Highlander Paladin right now. But they all have promising lists, and I really do believe that once Warrior gets knocked down, because there's no way Brand's not getting nerfed, I really do believe that Reno Druid is going to become the best Reno deck because it can ramp up. It can play the Reno by like turn 6 sometimes, depending on how well they effectively ramp up and have like innervates and coins. So it's just like we're gonna move from one problematic Highlander deck to another problematic Highlander deck. Like, can you understand why I'm not a fan of this kind of conversation? Where it's like, I really do believe that the only way to solve Reno is to admit Reno was a mistake. Reno was a problem, very similar to Gen and Baku. Gen and Baku were literally rotated to Wild for the same reasons why I believe Reno should be rotated to Wild. This card was originally printed as a deck building restriction, deck building requirement, to where every now and again there's going to be some decks that, you know, figure it out and they're completely busted, or there's going to be other decks that just have no business being Highlander decks. And that's kind of what's going on right now, is that this was supposed to be a deck building challenge, but it's no longer a challenge. It's just get the Reno out as soon as you can, find the ways of being able to somehow survive until then, and then play the Reno. And I know that sounds great because it's like, oh, you're supporting the deck, you're playing your Highlander cards. But the reason why I hate the typical Highlander right now is because these decks don't have skill agency. So I want Reno deleted, I want him out of the game, and I want to add Zephrys back into the game, so that way Highlander decks can actually be a little bit more, you know, they can think more about how they want to utilize their cards instead of their cards only being utilized in like 1 or 2 ways. So it's like, case in point, what am I talking about there? Reno is only going to be played when your opponent has a board that you want to get rid of. Reno is barely used as a card where it's like, I'm going to limit their next turn so that way I can take over the turn and start having initiative from here. You only save the Reno until it's time to throw it out. So it's extremely hard to bait out Reno for that reason, because if you're playing just enough minions to where your opponent doesn't need to play the Reno, they're not going to play it until it's the oh shit button, and they need to do it unless they are a deck that wants that hero power as soon as possible. So it's just like, I really do believe the only way of solving for Reno is just to get rid of him from the game, put in the Zephrys, and I realize that this is not the answer. Alright, I realize that this is never going to happen, and this would actually kill decks like Raza Priest. Any deck that wants the Reno hero power is suddenly absolutely useless, and now Blizzard has to admit that the most powerful card that they've made needs to go to Wild because it's so problematic. Like, I don't ever envision this happening, but it's like, I don't have a better suggestion. I don't know what else to do in order to make Reno into a more fair card. What, are we just gonna bump him up to 10 mana? Like, are we gonna revert the changes to where plagues are gonna be able to counter them again? I really don't know how to solve this problem. So this is where I'm gonna ask my audience. What makes you annoyed about Reno? What makes you praise Reno if you do enjoy Reno? And if you don't enjoy Reno, how do we solve this problem? Because I really do believe this is just going to be one of those issues to where you're either going to be for it or against it, and we just kind of have to deal with it. And I am prepared to deal with this, but guys, you got to understand how much I despise this archetype, how much I despise Reno, and how much it just doesn't seem fun, because healing up to 30 had a counter. Wiping out your entire board when you have death rattle minions, when you have things that are going well for you, and it doesn't matter because you just have a card that just literally wipes the board for free. It's just crazy to me how this is what Hearthstone has evolved into, because I don't support this and I don't enjoy it. So the only thing that I can do as a content creator is either A, not play it, which is not fair to the people that want Reno decks from me, or B, I have to make these videos talking about how much I don't like Reno, which again, I don't think anything is going to come from this. And more so than anything, I want this to just be feedback to Blizzard. I don't like cards that delete my cards and prevent me from playing the game. And the biggest reason why Boom Boss Warrior is such a problem right now is not just because the Reno is deleting your deck, but because suddenly Brand Boom Boss deletes like 18 of your cards. That's the real reason that people don't like this deck. It's not because it's a Reno deck or because it's a Control Warrior. It literally deletes your cards before you get to play them, before your very eyes. I literally can't think of a more uninteractive archetype that has been playable in Hearthstone outside of like Mind Render or Lucia, where you would just take your opponent's cards, dump them, and then they didn't have a win condition. So I hope that this was a collective way of being able to get some insight from somebody that really doesn't like Reno. But I want to have a conversation with people about why you enjoy Reno. Do you enjoy it because of the deck building requirement? Do you enjoy it because it's a powerful card? Do you simply enjoy it because it wins games? These are all very legitimate claims, and I do understand these kind of ideas. But me personally, I don't like Reno. I don't like what he encouraged. I don't like the deck building requirement being so simple to where you just draw Reno, you win anyway. And it's just, I just don't like these kind of decks right now. I miss the old Highlander. I miss Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. I miss Zephrys. I miss even Dino Tamer Brand. And I kind of hated Reno Hunter when it was really good. I miss Reno Mage. I miss... I just miss what Reno decks used to feel like, because as of right now, these decks don't feel like Reno decks to me. They just feel like bullshit. But thank you so much for making it to the end of this collective rant. Now, I'm going to show some game clips ahead that really showcase the points in the video that I made, so that way people don't just see me ranting about something without seeing the context on why I'm mad. Because, again, it's the situations that Reno puts me into where it's like, oh, I lose the game because they played that card. It's not even like a Hell Yeah. It's not even like an Odin to where it's like I can try to weasel my way out of it. No, I lost my initiative. These decks have no way of playing to the late game, and I really do believe it's going to paint the picture perfectly on why I believe Reno was the biggest mistake, the biggest whoopsie that Hearthstone has ever done in its history. I play enough to where like literally it's just, it doesn't... It's not even worth the effort. I don't need the packs. I've already got all the cards for this expansion. But I've already got the mini set pretty much locked in. Wait, I got Warlock again? The game is really trying to give me a W right now. The game is very much trying to give me the W right now. So I just gotta dig through my deck and just play the 15-15. Alright, here we go. Draw cards. There we go. Draw cards. I told you. Literally Q Warrior 5 times in a row. Dude, how does this happen? There's like 14 decks, are there not? There's a lot of decks. Alright, come on. Chaos Creation, let's go. Wait, hold on a minute, Jex. Are you off today? Wait a minute, how are you even in chat? Are you like in between jobs right now? I think he's in the truck right now instead of on call. Okay, let's go. Yeah, trust me. Like you already know why. But tell Hunter that he's cool. Tell Hunter he and I need to hang out soon. Yo. Hold on. Wait. This is damn near the same option I had last time. Okay, trapdoor spider, I guess. Pazik? I don't think I care that much about Pazik. I just need to like, I need the 4-drop, honestly. We might end up playing Chaos Creation just to dig through the deck, in all honesty.
Blood is my currency.
9, then 8, if I tap 7, discard 5. Not playable. Do I always get Warlock? What the fuck? I don't know, dude. I got Warlock 3 times for some reason, but I still haven't gotten a W yet. Like, apparently Tice did this for 3 hours and failed. And made it to Silver 10 and then gave up. So if we make it past Silver 10, we did better than Tice. You son of a bitch, I'm in. Hearthstone is for tonight. All right, dude, I'll see you later tonight. Your rank shows bronze 10. Yeah, I just started, bro. Kalento quitter since then. I don't think Kalento's quit. I mean, from what I've seen, Kalento's played recently. I don't know where you're hearing that information. Okay, I've got like all the good payoff cards right now. I guess we'll just do this. Get the mechs out of hand. I'm most likely gonna discard a furnace fuel, which means I'm gonna draw through the end of the deck. So tap into 15-15, play the Niru. Wait. Oh, I don't have enough mana. I was thinking like playing the Nomi, but I can't. I mean, this is still pretty impressive, though. It just really sucks to know that he's got the counter. All right, so I gotta play the Archivist next turn, right? I mean, is there a way that I could just like win here if he doesn't have an answer to the 15-15? Why tap? Because I wanted to get to the end of my deck to play the Niru. What the hell? What? Okay, let's go. Fracking? I mean, who cares about fracking? I could use fracking for the Archivist. Isn't that just better to give myself that chance?
The story deserves a new one.
That's incredible.
Big Game Hunter? Big Game Hunter is actually going to be good because he just buffed his cards. ETC or unfollow? I would love to pick ETC, but finaleing is actually kind of difficult with my cards right now. Discover a weapon? Oh, yo, Viper. Get rid of his weapon. See, now I can fracking for the Viper. See, I'm a genius, dude. Secrets. Yo, Barrel Rim? Sure. Okay, am I finally getting a W here? Oh, wait a minute, but this guy's gonna delete my shit! Oh, God! Alright, it's fine. 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 We win, right? He can't play Reno. This is why they nerfed Reno to 9 mana. Exactly for this game, so Whizbang could be good. A bouncer? Alright, that's not gonna be good enough. Dirty rat. Wait a minute. None of these are big game hunterable cards. This makes me so upset. I can't BGH any of these cards. Okay, hold on a minute. There has to be a lethal here, right? 9, 8. Oh my god, is there really not a lethal here? Discover a weapon, maybe? From any class? What could that do? Imagine if I, sharpshooter?
Your tale ends here.
Okay, so now I can attack again. I've got Arcane Shot, Chaos Creation for exactly 9. I really hate Reno. I really, really hate Reno, by the way. I could have won if I just didn't play the minion. Well, actually, I couldn't win because I had to play the minion. I did it! Ready for Reno to disappear from this format? That's literally what I just did. I did what the Hearthstone designers are too scared to do.
Deathwing.
It is better. It doesn't mean it's meta breaking better. I mean, do it. It just doesn't feel better. The difference between 0 and 0 is still 0. 0 is its 0% win rate. I'm going all in for the legendary. Okay, not that legendary. Play Brainless Warrior? Why would I do that? Literally, why would I ever do that to myself? Why would I play Warrior? I'm denying myself the true Hearthstone experience. Exactly, just blame Warrior. It's easier to blame Warrior than it is to actually go through the effort of playing the 15-minute game of playing Warrior. Oh my god, only 3s. We can't play Brainless Warrior. Exactly, we don't have Reno, dude. Exactly. You missed that earlier. I disenchanted Reno. Legitimately.
This will break your
It definitely wins more now than before, but it's also very bad overall. And here's like the other thing, man. Like, I am going up against 11-star gamers. So it's just like, not only am I going up against tier 1 decks, I'm going up against people that debatably know how to play them the best, right? Ooh, cool. Bam! Tempo. He totally doesn't have Bash and a Blade Storm. That Warrior skin is literally top 2. Oh, this one? The ETC one? I could see that. I like Deathwing the most personally. But that's because Deathwing emotes are the best ones.
no shelter from my fury. Come.
Give me shelter. Alright, do we take a peek at his hand to try and play around some cards? Let's take a little peek-see.
The future is clear. Your demise be near.
Well, that's not very helpful. Alright, so we'll do this so we can play the Togwoggle. That's not Reno. I mean, I don't want Reno. I just want to know if there's a good card in his hand, and I didn't get access to that. I know there's a Burrow Buster. Woo! So scary. Coin the 6, and it's not Bran. Oh, let's go. So it was always draw 3. This is the one that everyone went for back in the day. But I can't help but feel like it's probably this. Get some extra legendaries or something. And then if those legendaries don't do it, we have Rafam. Alright, here we go. This deck is still bad, but it feels a million times better without Boom Scheme. I think I can agree with that. I don't know who put Boom Scheme in this deck and thought it was a good idea. They probably just looked at cards that expansion through like Boom's Labs and Evil, and they were like, oh, it's got Dr. Boom's name in it. It's an evil card. It fits. It doesn't fit, but it fits. Huh. Low key, that didn't feel that good. I guess next turn we're just playing the Togwoggle. I mean, Thunderbringer pulling out Thunderbringer. Why would we want a 6-mana 2/4? Never, bro. It's never play the 6-mana 2/4. Alright, so it's gonna... Wait, hold on a minute, dude. This could be the nuts. Because it's gonna pull out Thunderbringers. Yo. Don't you dare have Reno in hand. Song request. Added. If you have Reno, I swear to God, man. Okay. Keep in mind, this'll...
Careful, it's against me.
Careful, it's against me.
Remember when death rattles used to do something when they died? Remember when death rattles used to do something when they died? Huh? Do you guys remember? You guys remember death rattles mattering? I don't! I don't remember anymore! This song is why? Why would you cue this? Because I'm not alive.
You fold. Candle mudslider.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
I'm going to throw the book at you.
Hey, loser!
I will not be denied.
Like, do you just see how Reno just absolutely destroys your fucking will to play the game? Like, I just, why, man? Like, why print Reno? Every stream turns into an I hate Reno stream because you can't get away from it. Like, I can't play around Reno. I can't respect it.
Talking. Hey, loser!
I'm gonna take your boom boss away, you asshole.
Talking.
Document my disappointment. Is this wild? No, this is mild because my opponent needs to be carried by a card that literally deletes the game. It's very mild. God damn.
Fast here.
My mom told me not to say anything not to say anything mean if I have nothing nice to say. Just got nothing nice to say. Got absolutely nothing nice to say. This is the worst experience. It just literally is. Like, imagine how cool it would have been to win the game with Thunderbringer pulling out crap from the deck that I have no idea that's there. But now I just know that the moment that the board is clear, he's just gonna play Boom Boss. Or he's just gonna play Inventor Boom, and then he's gonna play Boom Boss. It's literally like this fucking deck does the same thing every fucking game. Yet so many people defend this bullshit. Gonna discover Blade Storm.
No one will believe this.
You know what no one's gonna believe? No one's gonna believe that you're bullying a Whizbang deck right now. Holy shit, dude. Oh man, I wonder if I had any duplicates in my deck. Oh wait, it doesn't matter, because they changed how Highlander works.
I didn't intentionally pursue leadership, but I find it quite feasible.
Can we just admit Highlander decks were a mistake? Can we please just admit it, dude? Like, the moment that we have to correct the Highlander cards to actually, like, your deck starts, like, the way that they are now, it's like, they're so much worse. They're, like, actually so much worse, dude.
This there is from my fury.
It's really dumb how the only justification for Reno being that busted is that you don't always draw Reno. It's a really dumb justification, in my opinion. Like, the thing that you have to understand about why this is so frustrating is that you know it's coming. If it's turn 9 and they don't even think about their... If it's turn 9 and they think for not even 5 seconds, you know Reno's happening. And it's just like, I don't know how better to put it than that game. Where it's like, why do we have to invalidate death rattles to where now death rattle is now a useless keyword? Death rattle is actually a useless keyword now. It's literally there from the very beginning. From the very beginning, I lost the game. This is the fundamental problem with Reno. It just simply destroys any chance you have of winning. Like, look at this board. It's turn 8. I played a Whizbang deck. I got lucky and got double Thunderbringer. But it literally doesn't matter because he plays the fuck you, I win card. And the thing that's even more frustrating about this is that he also randomly found the coins. So it's like, this should have won. This should have won in every other reality where the other option that he got off of the one drop was not coins. So it's just like, I don't know how better to put it than this game right here. Reno is bullshit. Reno's not fun. Reno is extremely linear. And I'm just so frustrated that we have to sit here and argue that this is not fair. What better way to paint that something's not fair than literally initiative on a stick that deletes the board, limits the spot, and invalidates death rattles? I just don't know I just don't know the better way of putting it. Exactly, Reno destroys all the fun from the game. It's nothing like just healing back up to 30. Destroy your deck mechanic. We've already had that though, and it wasn't nearly as powerful as Reno.
On cold wind.
I have non-legendaries creeping. You say that now? Dude, I swear to God, if they do not learn from this, then oh my God. Your opponent can't play cards next turn. I mean, that's pretty much what Lotheb was. And we've already had that. So, like, what, are you gonna add that on top of the Reno ability? I will plat the aggro hunter until I get legend, and then I'll go to the warrior deck. Trust me, Zoth, just do not play the warrior deck. Do everything you can to not play the warrior deck. You wanna know why? Because it is not a fun deck to play. That is the only reason I'm saying this. The deck is turbo, not fun to play. It is very linear. It is very expensive. It is very expensive for a very unfun Hearthstone experience. So that is my reason why I would recommend to not play it. It's just omega expensive. It's not fun. It's very linear. The games literally play out the same, except when you play a Reno. Winning is fun? No, it's not. Winning the game does not automatically equate to having fun. Because I was winning games with Reno Warrior, and I thought it was the most boring thing in the world. I cannot play that deck for more than freaking... I can't play that deck for more than one game. It is literally that boring to me. Brand makes unplayable cards win conditions. Boom Boss is unplayable without Brand. Does that say how bad Boom Boss is as a card, or how broken Brand is as a card? Because Boom Boss was seeing play a little bit, not an insane amount though. But also just think about Boom Boss for a second. Boom Boss is a card that shovels 3 cards into your deck and then automatically depletes 3 of them. The moment that you start adding more than that, like the differences between like deleting like, oh, 1/10 of the deck versus like half of the deck, that is crazy. Like, I still don't like Boom Boss as a card, but I do agree that Brand does make cards unplayable into winnable cards, but that doesn't mean that the deck is fun. It's frustrating. All you are doing is preventing your opponent from playing Hearthstone. That's all that the deck does. It doesn't win by making smart decisions. It doesn't win by presenting a board until after you've already depleted your opponent of options. It is literally a deck that does everything in its power to want to make your opponent want to quit the game. All it does is deny, deny, deny. It's the worst example of a control deck. Because with some control decks, at least you have like a solid win condition. Sounds like DK. I mean, DK is a little bit more complicated. Because the only good DK deck was that. But there still is ways that DK can play for tempo. It literally has infinite minion generation with Headless Horseman. But the issue with that is drawing into the second piece of the Horseman is a little bit more inconsistent than I would want it to be. How am I ever gonna win this game if he just keeps gaining HP? I have to kill this. What about cards that don't allow cards with a battle cry to have their battle cry activate as a more broken mechanic? That concept would be the one. Oh, you mean a card that's like tight-lipped witness for secrets, but for battle cries? Then you need to have that card when they play their battle cries, and you have maybe 1 or 2 of them in order to counter that. You also need to run your deck. You don't want a card like that to be the answer. Tight-lipped secret for witness, but battle cries. Yeah, think about it. Think about that, man. You need to already be ahead. If that minion is on the field and your opponent already has 1 minion, they trade into it and it's invalidated. It's not a good example of a tech card. It would need to be like a spell or something where like next turn it prevents your opponent from like playing battle cries. Very similar to like Cold Feet and Death Knight and Paladin. That would be the way of countering those kind of decks. Battlecry minions cost 5 more. They've made a card like that. It was also not good. Playing tech cards is not fun either. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with that, but tech cards need to exist. It is actually part of Shutterwalk, Shaman, and Wild. Oh, Boom. Okay, Boom Biz. Yeah, that. But that's only in there because you're playing Shutterwalk, which is the definition of not letting your opponent play the game. Yeah, true. It's still a frustrating deck, but it doesn't excuse the other decks that are just as frustrating. But that's more of a Wild problem than it is a standard problem. Which card in Wild Shutter? Boom Pistol Bully. Your 5 mana 5/5 battle cry. Your opponent's battle cries cost 5 mana more. Yeah, Shutterwalk Shaman wants to do all the blocking it can. But you want to know the difference between Shutterwalk Like, most of the time, the Shutterwalk's not ready to go by turn 9, and it automatically wins the game. Like, you still gotta set it up a bit. But it's still a kind of fun deck to play, but it's not fun to go up against, I will admit that. Whizbang is all I need. Whizbang has not been going well today, I will admit. It has not been going well. I don't even feel like I'm playing Hearthstone at this point. This just feels like a really bad tavern brawl.
I will not be denied.
I have all these lackeys, but I don't have the good card. Oh my lord. I don't know, dude. I'm talking about something that completely fucks over the battle cry mechanic. There's no way of doing that unless it's a spell like Cold Feet. That's what I'm trying to say. Either that or it needs to be like an aura effect. But again, if you have an aura effect on the field, like Razor Scale, it needs to be a very large minion with a lot of HP. But it's only that kind of card is only gonna be good if you have initiative over your opponent. Unless they draw Overload making them cost 10. Yeah, dude, we're having a Framester. Bring back Framester, man. I miss Framester being an actual tech card. I feel like you've been complaining these 2 hours. I'm not hating you for that because I feel you. Yeah, I know. I know. It really sucks how it's just like the conversation isn't even about how fun Whizbang is. The conversation is about how stupid Reno is. Because it's impossible to not think about. Like, I was already in a coffin, and then Reno gets played, and that is the nail in the coffin.
The future is clear. Your demise be near.
Yay! Dude, I'm done. I'm actually done with this. I could bait it. Yeah, I can bait it. All right, here we go. Horseman time. Granted, I have to actually draw the head, but let's not think about that. Let's actually not go into that detail. I don't even know, dude. Draw. Oh, I'm a Death Knight now. Oh, that's kind of cool. Shit, I can't play that now.
It's your lucky day.
Spineless mortals.
Alright, let's go. Whatever happened to mill decks must be really a thing that Blizzard devs orgasmed over. Mill decks pretty much aren't a thing anymore because they're the very definition of decks that aren't fun to go up against. Clark doing a Whizbang challenge, it's not gonna last for very long.
It's against me.
Especially if this trend continues. Alright, be an 8 HP minion so I can Blade Storm. Oh wow, let's go. I actually high rolled once. I don't want to play the Reform until I get the head, because I don't want to transform the head. I actually need the value here. Draw. Is it Boom Boss Brand Mill? I mean, it's more so destruction, but I mean, by its very definition, it's kind of mill. But whenever I think mill, I think about like overdrawing. Like you're literally milling them and it's like it's just happening so fast.
You have earned an
eternity of torment.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess I was lucky that this hasn't happened yet. Still no head. Yeah, this is actually impossible. This is legitimately impossible, dude. Like, I just don't know how else to put it. I mean, I can make a video about this, but oh my god. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't handle this.
Decide your fate. Unholy, symbol of death.
Rip head. Play Dark Souls instead for a less frustrating experience. Dude, I can play Dark Souls and get less fucked.
You ain't never seen a
In all honesty. Play Wild Hearthstone. The last time that I played Wild Hearthstone and posted a video about Wild Hearthstone, I had the least amount of views I had ever gotten on a video. Yeah, I can't do this, man. I can't even get out of bronze. Okay, yeah, Whizbang stream is over. We're just gonna have to play real decks now. This deck is too experimental, and unfortunately, because one goddamn card exists, because this fucker exists, we can't have fun. I'm sorry, but Reno is literally the fun police. There's just no way of convincing me otherwise.